Hello, and welcome to the Sleeping Dragon podcast. My name is Tucker, and I am here with my friend Dylan.
Hello.
And today we are going to be talking about a game I really like, which is Frostpunk.
I'm just kidding.
But
L game.
it's not an L game. It's just hard, and you're not good at it. You
I
gotta
just
understand.
haven't played it.
You've played it probably once.
I don't know.
No. Anyways, we'll get into that. We just start this off by saying what we've been doing before we get into the craziness of this game. So, do you want to start?
Yes. We finished the Dark Pictures games.
Yes.
That was fun. I really liked the last one.
I liked House of Ashes more.
Liked House of Ashes and Marvel. Okay, they're both good. Well, we'll talk about them at some point. I think we actually have them on the calendar. I don't know when we're talking about them.
Yeah, a few weeks, I think.
A few weeks.
Won't say for sure, but
I don't know. Also, I've been playing a shit ton of Foxhole. Your boy's trying to get out of a cadet rank. I'm trying to become a second lieutenant. It's hard out here, man. 300 commands is not easy.
The struggle is real.
The struggle is real, has been real, and is always real.
Yes.
Okay, I want to talk about something. Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, let's talk about. We were just talking about the ranks a little bit of Foxhole. I'm not going to get super deep into that because it's too much. But, anyways, the max rank you can get in Foxhole is it's really expensive. You need a total of 20,000 commends from other players, and then you reach the rank of Field Marshal. So it's strange because that's I'm pretty sure that's the highest rank in other militaries. So I'm pretty sure the highest rank in the American military is just general. General.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think there's different sections and stuff, but
yeah, I'm not an expert in it obviously, but I'm pretty sure Field Marshal is the highest rank in one of the highest, if not the highest, one of the highest. And it's just weird because there's a wiki page of all the field marshals, and it's it's smaller than it seems it should be, But
I mean,
I guess it makes sense because it's not
also,
exactly the easiest thing to get to.
Yeah, it'd take a long time, and it is Foxhole is still kind of a smaller game, so not a whole ton of people are willing to put that much time into it.
Well, I'm not saying just Foxhole. I mean in real life as well. There is an actual page where you can look at field marshals for Foxhole.
Oh, is there?
But yeah, but in real life you can see all the field marshals, and there's just not a whole big number of them. But yeah, anyways, I just thought that was cool. So not what I'm aiming for because I don't want to have 60,000 hours in Foxhole by the time I finally get that. No.
Come on, you gotta really live out the experience of Foxhole. What are you gonna do otherwise?
Exploding. End it all.
What? You can't just stop at
I can't stop at second lieutenant.
Yeah, you can't just stay there. You gotta go for the next one,
If anything, I'll just be happy if I eventually reach captain. I don't need anything fancy.
No. You're gonna give up right before and go play the other one.
I don't know if I'm gonna play the other one, honestly. I don't know if I the things I've heard about it from people in Foxhole. I don't know if it sounds the best.
Yeah, I'm curious on what it's gonna look like full release.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be a good game, but I'm just hoping it doesn't drag too much away from the people playing Foxhole.
Yeah.
Anyways, you can go ahead and get into what you're gonna get into, so I'm not over here
all right.
stealing all your time away.
Talk away. I don't care. These episodes can go as long as we want. We own these.
That's true. TikTok.
We can do plenty.
Talk about TikTok. Not really.
I don't have anything to talk about that. I don't really.
Yeah.
I don't really want to.
India has field marshals. Oh, that dude looks pimpin'. Holy shit. Tucker. Okay, no, you go on what you do, and I'll send you. You'll see this picture in a minute.
Okay. So basically, what I've been doing, I'm working on Inscription. I finished Until Dawn 100%. I don't remember if I said that last time, or if I was still working on it last time. But I guess I can say his name because he's been on the podcast before. Our good friend Kalen, we have been doing a honor mode run in Baldur's Gate. And it is interesting. We're in like closer to the end of Act 2 right now, and there's a few moments where we're struggling, a few moments where we're not. It's iffy, but yeah, that's pretty much all I've done. Did you just send it?
Yeah, I just sent it. Look at this dude.
Hold on. Wait, what did you send it through? Oh, I see.
Dude, he looks so fucking cool. Look at him.
He does look cool.
Look at that.
I will
Look
say.
at that. Look at that fucking mustache, dude.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, if you're in the military in a high rank, you have to have a killer mustache. Like, it's kind of just
First
a given.
Indian to be promoted to the rank of field marshal. Oh,
Cool.
that's fancy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Anyway, that was pretty much all I have. I'm not doing too much at the moment. I'm just kind of hanging out. But we can. I don't know if you have any side things you want to bring up at all. I don't think there's much game news or at all.
I think there was something I didn't want to read up, but I can't remember what it was. What it was.
We can see. So we need to get into Frostpunk because this is a really fun game. Now it is a difficult game. Frostpunk is like a city builder survival kind of game where you gotta see to your people's needs and build up the city in harsh conditions. So I guess a little bit of lore. I don't want to go too deep into the lore of it because it's kind of confusing. But basically, it's set in like 1886 London. And so people were like, not foreshadowing. They were seeing signs of like a really big volcanic winter coming their way. And so they prepared by building these massive generators, and these generators produce a big ring of heat to protect people from the cold. And when that winter thing did come, the volcanic winter did come, it basically froze the planet over. It made everything extremely unlivable. So London fell, and people left on dreadnoughts, which these dreadnoughts are basically just big old hunks of metal that are just kind of rolling around in the snow, looking for somewhere to live. Just a way to transport people, essentially. And so we come to the main game of it. So the main game is called New Home, and you are tasked as the captain, so you control everything. And so you and your group, you start out with a group of like 80 people. You find a generator, and you have to build up everything from just around the generator from scratch. So there's resources around your area, and you have to collect those and build buildings sparingly. Seeing that you have enough coal to keep the generator running. And so pretty much this game has a big thing on decisions in it. So every now and then you'll have one of the townspeople have a pop-up, and it's like, hey, we need more housing. They'll be pissed at you for housing. And so these decisions, you can say, oh, I don't know, we're not dealing with this, or yes, you can make a promise, and you have to get that, or else you lose their trust. These affect 2 meters that are on the bottom of your screen while you're playing. These 2 meters are... I'm forgetting them. Holy cow, I've played this game so much.
If you want to think about it, I can get into my talk about the studio. Because they're actually super cool.
Oh, I love 11-bit studios. I love them.
Yeah, so the studio behind Frostpunk is 11-bit Studios. So they've made a few of the... So they're based in Warsaw in Poland, 2010. They are made from the former members of CD Projekt Red, like the creators of Cyberpunk and Metropolis Software. I'm not entirely sure. I think that's just like a software company. So
I think so, yeah.
but they've made a few games. So there's the Anomaly series they've made, which looks like it's quite a bit of iOS and iPhone games, not iPhone games, phone games. Interesting. Then they also made this War of Mine,
I want to
which
play
I've
that.
heard of that game. I want to
really
play
wanna
it.
play
I don't remember much about what it is, but they've also made obviously Frostpunk and Frostpunk 2, and then they are also I think creating or soon releasing the Altars.
I really want to talk about the altars. I know this is kind of in the middle of the things I was doing, but I am really hyped for the altars. I've been waiting for this for a while. The altars is essentially a adventure Fallout shelter in a way. So you play as Jan Dolsky. He is a miner, and he was sent with a group onto a planet. They ended up crash landing, and he was the only one alive. And he is left to run the this giant ship thing that has a bunch of housing stuff and research stuff in it, all by himself. Which it normally takes a whole crew to run. He has to run it by himself. And so while you're exploring this planet, you learn that you have to be inside before the sun comes up. You can only go out at night because the sun is extremely hot. And also you find an ore called Rapidium, I believe it was. And basically you use this ore to create a copy of something. And so you use it in the missions to create a copy of yourself from a different timeline, essentially, like a different dimension of yourself. And these differ from you by big decisions in your life. So your main character will make another one of himself, and that one will be if he didn't drop out of college, and I guess he'll specialize in a scientific field, and so it'll be the same guy, but he fully went through college and graduated, whatnot. Or there's what if I was able to stay with my wife, yada yada yada. There's a ton of different versions of himself, all good at different things, and you have to manage the happiness and all the relations with all of them, and it's so cool. I absolutely love the idea for it, and I'm really excited for that game to come out. Actually, it had
That's pretty neat.
Their release date come out recently. It was on June, I believe June 14th. I believe is
June
their
13th.
release date. Yeah, and so I'm excited for that.
It looks interesting. It's different from most of their other games because their other games are RTS, including this War of Mine. And I'm pretty sure the Anomaly. I haven't heard much of that. I will have to look a little bit more into that. But they've also published a lot of games as well. Not a lot. They've published a few that you guys have probably heard of. Moonlighter is a game, like an indie game I've been wanting to try.
Yeah,
I know that one.
Coming
That
out with
one's
a number
pretty
2
neat.
as well.
I know. Child of Morta. I also heard of that one. I haven't played it. I don't know South of the Circle. I do know The Invincible. I haven't played it though. I feel bad because half of these I haven't played. Thaumaturge looks good.
They're a pretty small company, so
yeah, and Indica, but they didn't make these games. They published these ones from
them.
other developers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'd like to say they did do a charity in November 2022 that would transfer the proceeds of their most popular release, this War of Mine, and then I think a part of Frostpunk, to help Ukraine rebuild from the Russian invasion or Russia's invasion. Whatever. So
yeah, overall, I really like this studio. I love the games that they make. They're just really awesome.
Yeah, they're pretty great. I like these dudes.
Yeah, but getting back into Frostpunk, I figured out the thing I was trying to think of. So these decisions basically affect your discontent and the hope of your people. So you want to keep your hope high and your discontent low. Your discontent can be built up by living conditions being poor, less food, your normal stuff, less heat, all that. And hope can be lost through breaking promises, people dying, and so on, so on. But that is one of the main core things you have to do, especially on harder difficulties. That gets really difficult. Keeping discontent down is really hard. Um, but basically, how you play the gameplay of this is you have a big old like top-down view of your city, and you build buildings and you assign people to jobs. Um, it's very it's very important you assign them to the right things and not be lacking in a resource, because once you get to the point where you're lacking in a resource, you can fall so behind. Depending, like if you really need to build a hunter's hut but you are way out of wood, it's not good.
You're cooked.
Yes. But yeah, as I said before, this game is a difficult game. Like, you're not gonna win first try. Hell, probably not even third try. Like, it's a very difficult survival game. I, as you probably heard, have played this game a lot. I 100%ed this game a few months ago, and it took me, I think, 2 or 3 months to fully 100%. There's 4 different difficulties in these. So you have like your easy, medium, hard, and survivor. And the survivor difficulty, basically you can't stop the time in the game. Normally you can like pause the game in a way, not like your normal pause screen, but like you pause the time in the game and you can kind of look at your city, build stuff, dismantle, yada yada. Plan out stuff, but you can't in survivor mode. That's not like a huge thing, because you can work around that by just going in build mode, but it's still an aspect. But with
still kind of annoying.
Yeah, it's just an added thing. I didn't find it really impede on me too much, but yeah. Yeah. So another thing with this is setting out scouts. As you play through, you can set scouts out to different regions of the map and kind of explore. And if you get to a specific spot in time, you can trigger a big event. Otherwise, this event triggers on its own with time. And this event gives you a huge decision. Essentially, what this is if you found the place, you learn of another city that has fallen. It's called Winterhome. If you don't find them in the Frostland before the time, you have a survivor that comes up to your city, barely alive, and they tell you the fall of Winterhome. But this basically puts your city into a panic. And so your hope drops like a huge amount, and people are just freaking out because they heard of the fall of this other city and they're scared it's going to happen to them. So you're given a big decision because you have to basically give people a purpose. And you have to choose between order or faith. So your people live by order, rank and file kind of thing, or they live by faith, more religious kind of stuff. And so with what those do is essentially give you it's almost like a skill tree. It's not a skill tree, but it kind of has the idea of a skill tree of like laws. And those laws, you have a set of laws before that happens, which is basic stuff like, well, I don't want to say this like it's a good thing, but like you have decisions where you can put in place like child labor. You can ration food differently. Yeah, have emergency shifts.
So there's stuff that can like really help you out, such as child slavery.
That's like
execution.
The biggest one you'll notice first on. But
if your furnace is failing, you can send a child to go fix it for you.
I'll talk about that later. That is an option. But basically,
the child may be burned alive, but maybe. Who cares?
These laws kind of just help you out, and it's a big thing on why this game is more unique, because they're very like I can't think of the word. I'm like spacing on words today. But basically, there's moral and immoral stuff in there, and so it's like you can like the child labor one. You can fuck. You can either implement, that's the word I'm looking for, child labor, or you can have the schoolhouse kind of thing. Like you have a child care house. So like the benefit of that is if you do the child care house, you can then unlock apprentices. So you can have them help out in either medical or engineers, and it just kind of ups their um, output of whatever it is. And the other side, it's you can put the children to work. It's pretty self-explanatory. But there's a ton of these with like food and medical. Medical's a big one because if your people can get ill. Obviously, I mean it's freezing outside. It's like negative 20 Celsius at the start of the game, and it slowly gets colder. Um, so medical, you start out with like medical tents, and you only engineers can work in there. You have a certain amount of engineers and workers. Um, but eventually you'll end up getting a person that's gravely ill. So people that are gravely ill can't just be healed normally, and they take up a space. So you have to choose a law between sustain life or radical treatment. Sustain life basically just keeps them alive, and they just kind of are alive. And radical treatment is amputating them. So then once they have an amputation, they can't work, but they're out of your medical tent. Which is typically the better option is radical treatment, just so they're out of the medical tent and out of your way. But yeah, and I guess I can talk about the tech tree. So you start out with really crude buildings, and they're not very helpful. They're good, but they can be better. So that's where the tech tree comes in. So at the start of the game, you build a workshop, you assign some engineers, and you can choose something for them to research through the tech tree. And so obviously they research those throughout the day, and that's how you unlock more advanced buildings for different things. So you can get things from like where you start out with coal piles, you're just gathering from a coal pile that will eventually run out. You can level up to a coal thumper or a coal mine. And
Coal
so that's
thumper.
just yeah, that's just what they're called. Um But yeah, so you can upgrade to more permanent resources and more efficient resources and just stuff like that. But you basically do that until you learn about the Great Storm. Your engineers warn you that there's some crazy shit happening way out there. And so you can build up I don't remember what it was called. It's got a really weird name. Basically, you get like a weather balloon thing. You research that and you build it. And you can learn about the storm. There's a giant storm that's coming and you have to prepare your people for it. And that's like the big like climax of the game is preparing for that. So it gets like extremely cold. It gets down to like negative 150. So, and that's Celsius, not Fahrenheit. So at that point, you have to stockpile a ton of resources and food. Big thing is coal and food. You need to stockpile a ton of it so your people can live throughout it. If you do live through it, you win the scenario. You win the main game. That's how you beat the main game. But that's most of the gameplay stuff. And so most of these scenarios are pretty similar. Aside from the main game, which is a new home, there are, I think, 6 other scenarios in the game, and so it's basically just the main game, but it's a scenario. It's a different scenario of it. So yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So okay, completely tangent thing. Not completely. So
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about the studio, right? Now the studio, 11-bit, originated from what CD Projekt Red and Metropolis Software. So I'm like, okay, I want to see what Metropolis Software is. So it looks like they don't like exist anymore. Like they're probably bankrupt or whatever.
Yeah.
Just disbanded, whatever. They made a game in 1995.
Okay.
Teen Agent.
Okay.
So the plot is gold is disappearing around Poland, and the police agency hires a random teenage kid named Mark Hopper to uncover the reason behind the disappearance.
Why would they hire a teenage kid?
Why wouldn't you?
That's crazy.
I'm sorry. I just love the picture of this book as well because the dude in the background that I'm assuming is the villain looks fucking hilarious. I mean, look at this dude. Hold up. It'll be in there right now. This dude's so goofy.
Oh my gosh. That's odd. Okay.
Yeah, it's so goofy. Including the weird red helicopter in the candy cane houses. I don't know. I really like old style like video games and their like vibes.
Yeah, they're very
thing's
vibrant.
super fucking
Very
old.
vibrant colors.
Yeah. Yeah, it was released on the MS DOS. I might be fucking
DOS.
stupid. I don't
Probably.
DOS. Yeah, I don't know super old stuff. And Amiga. So
Wacky.
yeah, that's super interesting. That's funny though. I like that. I like little shit like that.
Yeah.
Oh, it won a silver award from a UK magazine.
Oh. Cool.
Good for them. Good for them. All right. Go ahead. Go back.
There was another thing I forgot about. The main game is kind of split into 3 acts. Act 1, you just start. Act 2 is when the winter home stuff happens, and Act 3 is the storm. They're preparing for the storm. So at the part of Act 2, when you learn about the fall of Winterhome, and your people go crazy, and you pick Faith or Order, a group begins to build up in your city called the Londoners. These are people who want to leave your town and go back to London because they don't feel safe there. So that is one of the big thing with the picking the purpose thing, because the laws that you sign in either Faith or Order can help bring down how many people want to leave.
Wait, what? Wait, London doesn't exist anymore. Where are they going?
Well, so they went from London to there. London's still there. It's just kind of no one's there. So I don't know. They don't like it there. They're like, we should have stayed in London. Ride things out.
And just fucking die. Genius.
I guess I don't know. But one thing with the Londoners that I think like one of my favorite parts about the main game, it's an interaction you get. So some of the pop-ups will be that the people are protesting against you. And this happens 3 times. If you don't say anything the first 2 times, you don't reassure them, nothing, the Londoners will get more people. But on the 3rd time, you get the option to just flat out be like, I let you speak, now it's my turn. And it brings down the number of Londoners by a ton. And it's just, I love it. It's such a cool decision. But
this is cool.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so cool. Okay, I'm sorry again, but another game that studio made, that whatever the hell, Metropolis Software, they made another game in 1993, 2 years before the other one.
Okay.
Now it's a point and click, I think, horror game, right?
Yeah.
It's got like pictures, like real life pictures in it. I don't know, that vibe is just so cool, you know?
What was it?
It's got
called?
like the real oh my god, this fucking name. I am not gonna even try and say that.
Okay.
I'm gonna
it's in a different language. I don't know how to say that.
Any way I try and say this is gonna sound like I'm just racist or insensitive. Not racist, just I don't understand other languages. Tajimnika Statuitiki. There we go.
Tajimnika Statuitiki.
Tajimnika Statuitiki. But no, like the pictures of it are so cool. It's like some religious artifact thing, and Oh, dude, that seems so cool. I love games like that
Yeah.
with like that horror picture vibe to it.
Those ones can be pretty
You know?
cool if they're done right, you know?
Yeah. Oh shit, this thing got good ass ratings. 92 by Secret Service. I'm assuming that's just some game.
I
I
don't know
don't
what
think the
that
Secret
is.
Service is.
I
The
don't
Secret
think the
Service is
Secret
actually just
Service
like.
actually rated that. I'm gonna be honest.
It's a Polish monthly magazine for gaming and consoles.
I see.
Oh, it stopped in 2001? Why? That was like peak gaming era. Oh my god, there were. No, go ahead. Sorry. I'm distracted by something.
All right, I'm gonna move into the other scenarios. So I've pretty much covered like the entirety of the main game. Um, so there's, I believe there's 5 or 6 scenarios. I don't know the exact number. But I'll just kind of quickly run through. All the mechanics are mostly the same. I'll point them out if they're different. Um, but yeah.
Oh,
What did you put in? Hold
schmoly.
on. I heard the notification. What is that, bro?
Good lord.
Cannot put that on a magazine.
A gaming
A
magazine?
That's crazy.
That is so fire. Anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
For
I'm
context,
just
there's a
distracting you
very
here.
there's
No,
a
no,
woman in
no,
very
no.
nude clothing. Um, she's not fucking like she's not naked. Like
She's not naked. She's like half naked.
yeah.
It's fine.
Okay.
I like the badass wizard in the background though.
That is pretty cool.
Wizard's just fucking. It's so random. It's so random.
Alrighty.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
All right. Let me talk about it. All right. So the first scenario I'll talk about is called the Arcs. And basically, you are 45 engineers tasked with protecting these seedling arcs. So it's like these giant seed storage buildings to help populate the earth with like all kinds of plants once the storm has quote unquote passed over. And so your job is to basically make the everything autonomous so that it doesn't need to be run by humans. You do this by building automatons and assigning them to all the workforces needed. And that's pretty much the whole thing. It's pretty fun. There's 4 seed arcs that you have to protect. It's a pretty cool one. You have to keep them at a certain temperature and all that. But after that, there is the refugees, I believe, is the next one. The refugees is pretty difficult. You start with like some like 40, I think, workers, somewhere around like 40 workers, or not just workers, 40 people. And you slowly get more and more groups of refugees, and all of these you start at almost nothing. But you slowly get more and more refugees, and so you have to accommodate for having a ton of people. You get up to like, if you accept everyone, you get up to like 600 people, assuming no one dies. But so you have to like account for medical because some of the refugees come sick, and it's just a lot of that. And later in the game, you learn that the lords are there's a group of lords that are coming to your city. So your people get scared of the lords because they don't want to be kicked out of their city by the lords, who were the generators were basically built for the wealthy, but kind of just left the poor people.
It's not just the wealthy living in the city, though.
Yeah, but so you are literally like, you come in as just people surviving. You stumble upon the generator and you make it home, essentially. So yeah, you have to accommodate for that. You have to decide whether you let the lords in or you don't. If you do, you have to deal with the internal conflict. If you don't, you have to prepare your town because the lords set up camp right outside your town or your city. And you have to kind of...
What are they trying to do? Like invade it? Or?
Yeah, so your people are scared that they're going to invade it. There's a point where they steal stuff from you in the middle of the night. And the end goal, if that happens, is to prepare your city with like guard posts that are really expensive guard posts. If you do that, you win, your people feel safe against the lords. If you don't get that in time, your people flat out go there and kill them. Like, they brutally kill all the lords, and you still win.
Oh, that's fucked. That's
Yeah.
great though. I like that. I like that.
It's so cool. It's got like one of the best ending things too, because when you beat the game, any of the scenarios, the main game, all that, you get a cool time lapse of your city building up, and it'll like pop up with some of your decisions in the game. So it'll be like, first we started with child labor. It started with child labor. It moved to radical treatment. Um, and then they'll, depending on how far you went into order of faith, it'll be like, we crossed the line or we didn't cross the line. Faith became fanaticism, stuff like that. Um, but basically, it goes through all of that, and then it'll typically end on a phrase, and then it'll fade to fade to black. This one, I love the phrase at the end because it'll like go through all your stuff. Is like we annihilated the lords. I'm pretty sure that's literally what they said. And then
I fucking love it.
it'll pop up with "Isn't that enough?" and it'll fade out to black as the music fades out, and it's so like cinematic. It's so cool.
It's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. I really like the refugees. That one was really difficult to do on survivor mode, but it was a lot of fun. Next one is the Fall of Winterhome. So the part you come in after Winterhome has been partly destroyed. So the captain before you kind of was going a little crazy. People hated him, and he was about to be outcasted. And before he did that, he burned down like half the town, and the generator malfunctioned, and it blew up and burned down half the town. So then you are assigned to captain, and you have to clean up everything basically. So there's a ton of rubble that you need to clean out, and try and get the city back up to working order. As you're doing that, it's very hard to manage hope in this part. That's the part that makes it really difficult on survivor mode, is managing hope in the beginning is really difficult. But the conflict part that happens after a bit, you're clearing out the rubble, rebuilding all your resource stuff, get everything situated. You learn that the generator is going to keep malfunctioning, so you have to build this thing to investigate it and have a bunch of your engineers investigate the generator. And you eventually learn that the generator is going to explode. Like, it's going to keep malfunctioning and eventually explode. So your people freak out, and you have to evacuate them onto the last dreadnought. So there's one dreadnought left, and you have to evacuate all your people onto it.
Wait, what's the dreadnought again? You said it earlier,
yeah,
just making sure.
Basically it's a giant hunk of metal that transports people.
Boat?
Kind of. It's got like I don't know what those are called. I know what they're called. You know how a tank has like tracks as wheels?
Yeah.
I can't remember what those are called. But it has like those, but big. It's a really big thing, and it's basically meant for traveling through the snow, but it just holds a bunch of people. And so
yeah, I see. Like
yeah.
tracks, like train tracks.
Kind of. You can look it up if you want a better.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture of it. It looks
okay.
like a train.
It kind of is. The front of it is like a train. It's really weird to describe these things. But basically, you were left with a decision to just get a little bit of people out, or to upgrade or to take more time and upgrade the dreadnought to hold more people and more supplies. So you have to get a certain amount of coal and a certain amount of like metal, depending on how much you're doing. You know, you have a certain milestone of metal for each room that houses a certain amount of people. So basically just upgrading it, filling it with full of supplies and food and all that, and then sending it off before the generator explodes. That's the whole scenario. but it's a really cool one. It's a lot of fun to kind of learn about it in a way. There's not like a lot of lore to learn about, but it's still pretty cool. Let me see.
Where did it go? It said it went to Frostlands.
So the Frostlands is just everything outside of the city. It's just heaps and heaps of snow, essentially.
So the Dreadnought just went off to the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, though the city was cooked, they have to find another one. Hope they find another city. That's essentially what they were left to.
Well, they're probably dead.
Probably.
Rip.
Yeah.
That's your problem, I guess.
Yeah. We don't know what really happens to them after that.
They're most definitely dead.
Probably. I'll try and see if there's. Hold on. On the edge. Okay, I think that's most of the main ones. The last two are DLCs. So the first one is called The Last Autumn. So The Last Autumn is before the frost comes, before the big initial snowstorm comes. You are operating a group of engineers and workers on building a generator. So you have to work around getting specific materials and working around safety, because that's the big thing, is people have to work on the generator itself and they have to build each piece of it. You have to manage the safety levels through things like different laws. There's a whole new tree of laws for this one. And so you got like I don't remember what it was called. It's called like labor laws or something like that. But you have a ton of things that deal with safety and make things less safe or more safe. And yeah, so it's still managing people's. Instead of hope, it's managing their motivation. The higher their motivation, the faster they work. And you can do things you can help that with the laws like giving more hearty meals, giving them better meals, better living conditions, stuff like that. So instead of having like a coal mine or stuff like that, you get your resources through the docks. So you'll have ships come in with shipments and you'll have to unload them with workers. And that's how you get your main resources. You have to build a ton of different buildings that aren't in the main game that create special materials that are used for the generator. But that is mostly it. One thing is the food system's a bit different. You actually have to send groups of hunters out like scouts to different locations to send shipments of food. But it's a really cool one. I was never able to actually finish this one because I was having a problem with my game crashing a lot.
Oh right, it would crash at like this specific moment every single time.
Yeah. So I was just having that problem. I was just kind of getting fed up with it. I played through it like 4 times and it like crashed 3 of them. So it was just kind of annoying. So I did not actually finish this one, so I don't know what the ending of it is. I'm assuming you build the generator. There are a few things with whether the generator is at full capacity or not, depending on certain decisions. But yeah. The kind of turning point in this one is your workers kind of split into sections in a way. They split apart from the workers and the engineers, and you can choose to side with the workers or the engineers in it. I sided with the workers on mine, so they get like a crap. I don't remember what it was called. You get a few things with whether or not you are allowed to sign the laws or they sign the laws and stuff like that. A labor union, that's what it was. You create a union. And it's just stuff with that. But overall, it's pretty cool. And then the last one, I think, is my favorite one. It's called On the Edge. And so that one, you play as a This is killing me. I'm running out of words.
You play as a...
What is it called? Oh my gosh.
What do you
that's what it is. Outpost. That's what it is, an outpost. In the main game, you can set out an outpost. They go to very specific spots out in the Frostlands, and they give you deliveries of a specific material. So you play as an outpost team, and you actually play as an outpost team for New London, which the main game, A New Home, is called New London. That's what your city is called. But in this one, you play as an outpost team for them, and they don't treat you very nicely. So your outpost team is supposed to collect metal and eventually steam cores, which are like more advanced materials for more advanced buildings. So you kind of learn that they don't really care about you, and they're just kind of using you. At some point, they give you less food. Like they send you shipments of food normally, and they send you less. And then they only send it when you send a shipment. And your people get fed up with them, and you break off from New London and kind of start your own place. You don't have a generator in this one. But you start your own
just living off prayers
little
and dreams.
thing. Yeah, kind of.
What's keeping them warm? Old space heaters.
So this area, I don't know if it's because of this area or like at the specific time in it, but it's warmer than normal. So you keep people warm through braziers and stuff like that. So pretty much that's what you do. You have braziers in specific spots. For a good chunk of the game, you don't need braziers. But as long as you level up the housings, they normally have enough insulation to be good until later game. But with this, so I mean, you're there to make metal, and so you kind of learn pretty fast that you don't really have food. You don't have a way to get food. So you come in contact with another settlement. I don't remember what they're called. They're like a greenhouse place essentially. They grow food. That's their big thing. Is they grow food. So you get in contact with them and you talk to them about making some deals, working together. It's called the Hot Springs. That's what they're called. And so they basically tell you, hey, we'll send you food if you send us materials and help us out with our infrastructure. So you'll send them things like just basic materials. You'll send them a few workers every now and then. They get a little on the edge with your workers because they're not used to your medical practices and they're iffy on it, you know. But you kind of help them make decisions and stuff. And so you can have them be in really good relations with you or really bad relations with you. But yeah. So another settlement you eventually find is the what were they called it? The shipwreck camp. So the shipwreck camp is a group of convicts that set up camp, and they will send you wood. So they'll send you pretty good shipments of wood if you help them out, similar to the hot springs. And they're pretty interesting because you'll send people over there to help them with like medical and stuff like that. And your people will be on edge because they're convicts. They're people. They're not like good people necessarily, but they're people who have kind of changed their ways. So you can like choose to trust them and be like, hey, the past is the past. We don't worry about it. And then the last settlement is the children's mine. So
What?
yeah. So
wait. Oh god,
I know
that's great.
it's so goofy. That was my reaction the first time I saw this one as well. It's basically a settlement with a number of older people and a number of children. I don't remember exactly why they ended up there. I don't really remember, but they specialize in getting coal, obviously. So they, yeah. So helping them out mostly consists of like the normal stuff like medical and stuff like that, but also with making their mine stuff safer because it's not very safe when you initially talk to them. But they're very insistent on not like stopping the mine stuff. Like they love it. I don't I don't know. It's
Sorry, you
very weird.
cut out for me.
Oh yeah. So they're very insistent on not like wanting more workers necessarily, more people. They're pretty content with what they have.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very
fine.
yeah, it's very weird. It's very weird. Um, but yeah, they get you coal. So throughout this, eventually the settlements will be like, "Hey, we had a problem with getting your resources. Our workers ended up dying on the way, so you have to make. You don't have to, but it's kind of implied that you should make the route safer. So you have to spend a bunch of materials to make the route safer, and then you'll get more consistent deliveries if you do that. And yeah, so you
killed them? Like frost monsters?
No, there's no frost monsters. It's just the weather and the rough terrain, essentially, because it's a bunch of mountainous area that you're in, and with the frost being the frost, it is very cold and very rough. So, but yeah, so that is pretty much you do that. You don't have to do that, but it is very good to do that because then they'll send you a consistent delivery instead of you having to send them something to get in stuff in return. But your I don't know if it's really a city. Your city is basically just building up your relations and getting to the point where you're good, you know. And then you get a call from New London. So on the radio thing, New London speaks with you, and they're like, "Hey, so we're having problems." And basically, you learn that they're probably not gonna survive without our help. And so they need there was something with the generator that happened, I believe, like the generator malfunctioned or something, and they're in desperate need of supplies. So you need to send them a ton of materials if you want to save them with that. You get a decision. You can save New London by sending them a ton of stuff, or you can just say, "Nah, I don't wanna," and you let New London fall. If you let them fall, a ton of refugees come to your town or your city, and so you have to kind of prepare for that. If you choose to save them and you have good relations with all of the settlements will help you out with the resources that you need to help them. So like they need like a ton of coal, a ton of wood, ton of metal, ton of food. So like the hot springs will take care of the food. The shipwreck camp will take care of wood. Children's mine will take care of coal. And then it's so goofy. I know. But then you're just left with steam cores and metal that you need to send them. If you send all that, New London survives. Yippee. And then if you don't,
will they be nice to you afterwards?
I don't know. I think so, but I don't know for sure. If you choose to let them fall, a ton of refugees come to your city, and you have to prepare for them. You have to get a certain amount of infirmaries, a certain amount of housing and heat and all that. You have to just prepare. And that is pretty much the end of that one. But overall, I think that one's my favorite. It's really interesting having to manage all the settlements. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this game in general is a lot of fun though. That's pretty much the entirety of the game. We have Frostpunk 2 coming out. It's out on PC. It comes out on console sometime this summer. But we'll see. I'm pretty excited for it. Other than that, I think that's pretty much all I have on Frostpunk. I hit pretty much the entirety of the game. I don't know if you have anything else you want to talk about.
No, I don't have any finishing anything.
All right.
If you want to get into your review.
Yeah. So with the review, overall, I think this game's a lot of fun. It's a difficult game, so it's not for everyone. I personally like the challenge. I spent a lot of time 100%ing this. I think I put a total of like 110 hours in it. It is a lot, but it's a lot of fun. I like the decisions. The decisions are like very impacting to the game. They really make the game. They make the game essentially. But if you're looking for a challenge, this is a good one. I would say I would give it probably a 3.9 out of 10 or out of 5, not 10. Out of 5. So
3.9 out of 5.
Yeah, I don't know what that puts that to.
Let me see. That gives it a 7.8.
Okay. I think it's fair with it. Just because it's not for everyone. It's definitely difficult, but for people who do really like a challenge, this is a solid one to do. It's a lot of fun overall. But yeah, I don't know if you have any thoughts on it or closing stuff with podcast or.
Yeah, we can say our next episode is going to be Risk of Rain 2.
Ooh, that one's gonna be fun. We're gonna be talking about the music for a while.
Dude, the music is so fire.
It is amazing.
Okay. Okay, we can't get into the music now.
Not yet. Not
the right episode. Alright, yeah.
Alright.
Well, if we're all good.
Yeah, I'm good to close it out. Anyways, if you made it this far, thank you for listening. Please give us feedback on it. But we will be back next week. So, bye-bye.
Bye.